Since narcissists see their kids as little other than an extension of themselves, they would do anything necessary to impede their growth into self-sufficient adults. At a young age, something that approaches a completely functional human being would be obstructed. Since freedom means their children will inevitably quit, and leaving means losing power, they will try all they can to avoid this. They'd prefer their children were reliant for the remainder of their lives than see them thrive on their own. Number 1. What narcissists say of their offspring. Only if they stand to profit directly from their children's progress would narcissists continue to see them thrive. It may be material riches, but they would choose anything that elevates their personal prestige, such as strength and control. They don't see their children as individuals, rather, they see them as extensions of themselves, as previously said. An incentive for their kid is often a reward for them. This is not to be confused with the pride that parents experience as a consequence of their child's successes in life. When the parents are genuinely happy for someone else's success, especially if that someone is their child, it isn't genuine delight in seeing someone realize their dreams and ambitions. Number 2, it's close to winning the draw. Narcissists assume that the whole universe revolves around them. That someone is on the alert for an opportunity to exploit someone else. A never-ending predator-prey game in which all you can do is expect to be the attacker more frequently than the prey. And if you excel, you would have had a happy life. A life with a reptilian brain, of which their own children are just a part of the game. There is no clearer knowledge of what it requires to move over one's existence to another. And they have no idea that their children live on their own. They are unable to link all of their acts to a result due to a lack of empathy. Anything that goes wrong has nothing to do with them. Anything that goes wrong with their life is due to circumstances and other people. Every achievement, whether it comes as a consequence of their decisions or someone else's, such as their child's, is focused solely on their own merits. Number 3. Why do they disregard their children's accomplishments? Another choice for parents is to disregard their child's achievement. They would behave as though it never was, particularly if they don't see any value from it. What's in it for me? Since admitting it will imply relinquishing power. They know which buttons to press as the child's parent to keep power. They would either neglect or sabotage their child's progress if they do not see a clear benefit from it. The narcissist's attitude is particularly harmful since it impairs the child's capacity to benefit through sincere input. They never know if what they do is good or evil, right or wrong, because positive and poor are twisted and exploited for various purposes and desires. The last thing an infant knows is how to cater to their selfish parents' desires. They just don't know how to motivate themselves because of their impaired capacity to benefit from criticism, because all they've ever known is how to cater to everyone else's priorities. This, in fact, increases reliance on the same individuals who caused it. Instead of achieving stability, the now adult infant is stuck in an abusive partnership, which will last long beyond the parents' senior years, if not until their demise. In certain cases, this is unconsciously satisfying the parents' need for lifelong power and reliance. Number 4. How do narcissists keep their children under their control? A narcissistic personality disorder is either untreatable or only partially treatable. As a result, it is the duty of the infant, or later the parent, to live with the consequences of such an upbringing. Only comprehensive learning and rehabilitation will assist us in regaining control of their lives. Number 5. In their children, narcissists have only 2 main interests. Directly by their children's material and emotional dependence, they receive a continuous supply of affection and retain dominance. Directly through their children's progress in adulthood, maintain a center of publicity and improved self-image. Children are seen as things, similar to automobiles and buildings, that do not function as distinct entities. The assumption is as follows: since there will be no you without me, anything you do is a product of me. The children must make an attempt to satisfy their parents, and if they don't, the narcissist would claim, "You don't love me anymore." The infant might be aware of this, whether knowingly or unintentionally, but since he or she is incapacitated, he or she has little idea how to escape the chain of dependence. What selfish parents dread the most is an infant who is completely self-sufficient on all dimensions psychologically, socially, and physically. Number 6. Why do narcissists keep their children under their control? Narcissists have a strong fear of being discarded, and they would go to whatever extent to hold others in their grip. Even their adult children are unaware that anything they do is inspired by a need to please their parents. They strive to measure up to their parents' standards, which are difficult to fulfill by design. Since narcissists demand regular, special care, affirmation, and/or appeasement to feel good about themselves, their children make ideal victims to meet such needs. They have been socialized to rely on their parents on a behavioral, emotional, and physical basis, so any effort to sever this dependence must be punished or sabotaged by different forms of coercion. Since narcissists are totally ignorant of their behavior and deny even the most rudimentary concept of cause and effect, any effort to teach them of the effects of their actions will not only be dismissed, but may also result in a massive narcissistic anger that can include psychological and physical abuse as well as other forms of retaliation. Seeing an infant provides the narcissist with an endless supply of drama from the comfort of their own house. It's the perfect all-in-one option that they secretly crave. A utterly dependent, subordinated human being with little or no expertise that lacks the ability or intelligence to defend themselves against the violence they are subjected to. Part of their tactic is to shatter all clear understanding of truth. Whatever is nice today might be bad tomorrow. None to be clung to or relied upon. They'll try whatever they can to demolish whatever sort of help system the kid has put in place. They will rather risk their child's freedom than see them succeed and integrate in a way, because they are terrified of losing their influence and control. In reality, any difficulties the child is having would be greeted with greater joy than their accomplishments. Some sort of accomplishment could jeopardize their position of power, so they'd rather see their child lose than enjoy a success they can't manage. Even their most severe retaliations for losing attention and power are merely attempts to reclaim energy. It is much more necessary to them to retain leverage than it is to relinquish their primary source of influence. Their distorted thinking prohibits them from seeing that people do not respect them because of their grandiose personality, but rather despise them because they are defenseless. Number 7. What is the best way to describe the behavior of narcissists? Depending on the nature of their condition, narcissists can take pride in their children's helplessness, as well as the helplessness of everyone who relies on them in general. Their lack of understanding causes them to express little regret for ignoring other people's pain and difficulties. When you respond to your own child's achievements with envy rather than pleasure, with subversion and self-interest rather than encouragement, it's only understandable if you place things in context. A personality disorder is a disease, and an illness is an out-of-balance condition of an individual. Looking at things from this angle allows it possible to stop being enraged and violent towards those who suffer from such a disease. This awareness, though, can only be used to control one's intense feelings, not as a compassionate exercise that the narcissist would happily use for his or her own gain. It's the ultimate vortex that their children keep falling into. The empathy of their children leaves them imprisoned forever. They keep returning to give it another chance, only to be exposed to the same violence they've been subjected to for the majority of their lives. Therapists are well aware that the best path out of this dark cycle is to either end the friendship or reduce interaction to the point that the narcissist will no longer mess with one's existence. Of course, this is only the beginning. The next move will be to learn how to heal the social trauma incurred by such a childhood. It'll be a long and rocky path, but even the distant prospect of leading a regular life should be enough to inspire you to pursue. To sum things up, talking about narcissists often comes off as cold, distant, and also compassionate to others. But the fact is that what one ever does is explain a narcissistic personality disorder sufferer's behavioral pattern. And if the definition turns out to be made up of such adjectives, it just implies that the description is consistent with the repeated behaviors that fit the personality disorder's profile. When working with narcissists, the level of difficulty is so high that most people crumble under the weight of this enormous obstacle, which most people believe is unsolvable. This is why therapists advise keeping a safe distance from the case. It's also the best way to stop getting totally absorbed by the narcissist's attitude. Their appetite for dominance and influence knows no limits and will not abate even though the victim is totally killed. They are unable to see the repercussions of their decisions due to the essence of their work. The prospect for partnership or perspective would be regarded as an incentive for benefit. The length of this struggle is dictated by the child's understanding of the problem's full scale. The more one keeps on trying, the longer it would take to resolve the problem. As I previously explained in one of my blogs, most narcissists do not think they have a disease, so expecting some comprehension, let alone change, is on a scale of rare to unlikely. Many individuals have squandered their life seeking to please their selfish kin. It's a well that can never be filled because of their unpreparedness/refusal to comply. Taking action and thereby taking ownership isn't about wanting vengeance, it's about breaking the loop of an abusive partnership and, most specifically, minimizing the risk of more harm to one's existence. Instead of hoping for revenge, instead of wasting time and resources, one can begin to create a life worth living. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If there is anything that needs to be discussed, write in the comments column below.